Welcome to the Messenger-Inquirer Gridiron Report, sponsored by Crandall's Home Furnishings and Carpets Unlimited. I'm Scott Hagerman, and with me today, sitting in for Jim Pickens, is Mark Mathis. And Mark, we got a lot of interesting games to talk about. Let's go right to the first clip, which was the big district battle in Class 2A.
Right.
We had the Hancock County Hornets coming into Steele Stadium to play Owensboro Catholic. We expected this to be a really tough game.
Right.
Catholic wins 37-20, but the score really wasn't indicative of what a tough battle this was. Catholic's only up 22-20 early in the fourth quarter. Did it go kind of as you anticipated it was going to go?
After talking to the coaches at length during the week, I really thought that it might turn into a defensive battle, that both the defenses might take over. But it looked like the offenses performed well. There was a special teams touchdown also. Isaac Hardesty and Mazden Riney appeared to be semi-unstoppable with 4 touchdown passes, and Catholic outgains Hancock 419 to 238 in total offense. So I think they probably did a decent job of keeping Hancock's offense off the field enough.
Right. My big question about this game coming into it is, would Hancock County be able to stop Owensboro Catholic's passing game? Because the pass defense of Hancock County showed a couple of cracks in an earlier game against Muhlenberg County, and obviously the Catholic passing attack is of a much higher level than Muhlenberg. But it's an odd thing. Catholic certainly did good work through the air. As you said, the Hardesty-Riney combo accounted for 4 TD passes, 15 yards, 18 yards, 68 yards, and 6 yards. But even giving that up, Hancock stays right in it the whole way. So I think we've got to be impressed with Hancock coming out of this game.
There's no doubt. I think this is going to come down to, in the western part of the state in 2A, I think it's going to come down to Catholic, Hancock, and Murray. I think those are the 3 teams. Monroe County is out there a little bit somewhere also, but I think Murray probably has enough speed to be able to deal with Catholic or Hancock. I mean, I'm very impressed with Hancock. They have run their running game, if not to perfection, then very close. They're very hard to stop, and like you're saying, they went into the fourth quarter, which I totally anticipated the game going right to the end.
Right.
Almost.
Isaac Hardesty just having an unbelievably impressive year. He's 22 of 32 for 278 yards. He carries the ball 11 times for 91 yards. Isaac Hardesty has really become kind of the star of this year in a lot of ways, don't you think?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. The couple of times I've covered them, he puts the ball on the money, or he at least puts it to where a receiver can make a play on it. I mean, the guy can really throw the ball, which I'm sure at the beginning of the season, the Catholic people weren't even sure how well he would do. But I mean, he is a very, very good passer for a high school quarterback.
I think in some ways the difference in this game was Catholic has that ability to really hurt you in 2 different ways. Hancock, while Matt Rapp is showing good things, they don't really have the ability to really hurt you with a passing game. The passing game is more to set up their great running game. And I think that's what it's going to take to get them to that Catholic level, is that passing game getting better.
I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, Chris Morris going into that game, Hancock County's coach, he was as concerned about Russell Hayden and about the running game as he was the passing game, because he said you can't let Catholic get off on you both ways, or you're just in terrible trouble.
Right. And Hancock did a good job.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
I don't think there's any doubt that they were very competitive.
All right. Well, let's go to another clip. This would be Apollo coming into Rash Stadium to face the Owensboro Red Devils. Interesting game here from the standpoint that Apollo was coming off probably their best performance of the year.
Right.
So you didn't really know if that could be a carryover effect against a team of Owensboro's caliber. And they play them solid. It's a 49-28 Owensboro win. 28 points for Apollo is a vast improvement over what they'd been doing to times. But the thing that stands out about this game is not the stats so much, that we'll talk about in a minute, but that it's just that we just recently found out Cal Prince did suffer a broken leg in this game, and it's very questionable whether he will be back the rest of this season. How do you see that impacting the Red Devils?
It seems to me, story I wrote in Monday's paper talking about Jacob Roberts, he seemed very comfortable with stepping in the backup role. He didn't if he's coming in cold, he warms up quicker than anybody that you could think of, and he's handled the Ohio County situation and this game with a lot of poise, throwing the ball, putting it where it needs to be, that kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see going forward how they use Roberts. The team obviously has confidence in him when he's in there. They're not afraid to have him back there. So I think that will help them going down the road.
Well, against the Eagles, he completes 7 of 12 passes for 218 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ryan Bowling has a big game for the Devils, 3 touchdown receptions and returned an interception for a touchdown. Owensboro, it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust their offense now, because Cal Prince was such a focal part of the running game.
Right.
That's where it's going to be interesting to see if Roberts what dimension he can bring to the running game. I can't imagine he brings the same thing as Cal.
No, in the Christian County game, when Cal was coming off of a shoulder stinger, evidently in the Ohio County game, they ran Kendall Tinsley quite a bit out of the Wildcat formation. I wouldn't be surprised to see them mix things up a little bit, because I think Owensboro is still searching for a way to try to get its running game going. Ryan Bowling looked incredibly more comfortable the second time out after getting a cast off of his arm than he did against Christian County. So I think that's going to be a big factor for them going forward.
A real weapon that's going to step up.
Yes, very much so.
For Apollo, there's some real positives to note here, and the biggest one to note for Apollo, 184 rushing yards. Apollo has had so much trouble running the ball. Elijah Diller, 127 yards on 20 carries. The fact that they could run the ball against Owensboro bodes well for them as you look down the list going forward in the season.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. That was the big hang-up for them, it seemed like, all season long, not being able to establish any kind of running game. I think if they can get consistent and get that going, it's going to help Corbin. It's going to help loosen things up for Corbin Jewell also. But I think getting Elijah Diller to the outside is a huge key for them.
Right. Jewell 15 to 26 for 99 yards. I guess you'd like to see him stretch the field a little bit more. 15 completions for 99 yards is not a very high yard per reception average. So they probably do need to look a little bit, go more downfield, which will open up the running game even more.
I think that's true.
The other game we want to talk about before we go to the break was a 5A matchup, Christian County and Ohio County, 79-7 Christian County. No surprises in that at all, I don't think.
No. Christian County has so many weapons. It's unbelievable. Marcorian Tandy returns.
I think he had four punt returns
for touchdowns, which speaks to his speed. And, the Colonels just have way too many weapons. Cody Murphy got 78 yards on 19 carries, which I'd say that's about as good as he could probably do against a defense of that caliber.
Right. Cody Murphy brings it every week. I mean, you got to give Cody Murphy a lot of credit. We've said it before on this show, but he really puts up the numbers every week.
Oh, and playing for a team that is struggling as it is, to be able to come to practice every week and to continue to try to get better, I mean, the kid must have tremendous heart.
Yeah. Well, we still have more to talk about, including the Marshall County-Daviess County matchup that was a huge district matchup in 6A, and we'll be right back to look at highlights from that after a word from our sponsor.